Welcome back to the Acoustic Shop channel. I am John, here today to introduce you to a new thing that we're going to try called John's Guitar Vault. It's where we're going to look at some of the guitars. I don't have a vault, but I do have a lot of guitars, and we can talk about each of them. So we're going to talk about this one here just after this. So yes, I do not have a vault, but ends up I have a lot of really great guitars, and I'm just discovering that again too, pulling some of these guitars out for the first time and playing them, including this guitar right here. I haven't really played this. I've played it a couple times for a few minutes, but really I have not spent any major time with it in almost 20-something years. This is my Santa Cruz Tony Rice model from January of 1990, and I know that because the label on the inside says 1 of 90. So January of 1990 is when this guitar was built. I didn't get this guitar until probably 95 or 97 would probably be a more accurate time period for me. This guitar had been around for a long time and actually made it into a music store that I was working at. It was still brand new and nobody had ever sold it, but it worked its way through about 3 different guitar stores in Colorado until it got to the one where actually my dad worked. I wasn't actually working there, and that was the Old Town Pick and Parlor in Arvada, Colorado. Showed up in there, and of course, I was in love. I was, 17, 16, somewhere in there, and huge Tony Rice fan. And this was the first guitar, besides the very first guitar I ever played, which I don't have anymore. That was I think a 1974 D28. But this was the first guitar that was new that I just, had to have. And my dad actually worked this guitar off. He worked at that shop and paid it off with his paychecks and slowly got it done. A lot of cool war stories. This was probably the guitar I recorded with the most. I think our first 3 albums that we ever did on a label, and then we did a couple, 2 or 3 before that even, were done with this guitar. It is a rosewood sides and back, Sitka spruce top. Cool story, there was the same music store that got this originally had a mate to it that was a Brazilian rosewood, and I played that one actually a lot too at that music store. But this one ended up in my hands, and it was played a lot. It has a weird thing, and I talked to Richard Hoover about this years and years ago. If you look real close, it has this like dimpled finish, and it was something to do with the way the lacquer was done. And years after I got this guitar, Richard wanted to get it back, and he wanted to refinish it. And we never did because we just liked the way it sounded and didn't do that. Interesting beat up war marks on here. This mark right here, this was back in the years of waterbeds, and I was changing my guitar strings on a waterbed, and the case lid fell over and smashed it and put a big old crack in here, and this was not long after I got it. And I had to hide it from my dad for a long time and didn't tell him about it until finally he saw it and we had to fix it. So there's that. This one right here, this is another good story for all of you people with guitars. Every guitar that we sell at the Acoustic Shop, we take those little cloth ribbons and we pull them on the outside, and a lot of manufacturers do this too. This is the ribbon from a hard shell case that reacted. Some nitrocellulose lacquers will react with plastics and nylons and webbing and stuff of that nature. And this, if you notice, is a perfect square because it ate into the finish and pulled it away. And learned real quick never to let those on the inside. A couple other weird things that happened to this, and I recently actually got to talk to Richard Hoover about this, and he's kind of contemplating. So if you see this, Richard, or anybody sees this that knows Richard, I'm still interested in getting this done. Years ago when we were traveling with this guitar, it needed a neck reset, and they were so nice, Santa Cruz was so nice to, under warranty, cover it and left it with a repair shop, which was close to us at the time. We were on the road, actually, and I'm not going to say who it was, but they decided that they would do the reset. And at that time, it was only allowed to go to the factory or a couple other very, specific places. And Richard okayed for them, under warranty, to do the neck reset. The problem was when the guy did the neck reset, he actually cut way too much off the hill and shortened the scale of this guitar. It's moved about, I don't know, 30, I'd say it's 1/4 of an inch off from where it should be. I'm looking at it right now. This 14th fret should be at the line of the body, and it's all the way up here right now. In doing so, he realized that it was no longer intonated, so he took off the original bridge, which I still have, and built a new one that had a slot way back. And if you look, it's all the way back to the bridge pins. So I've talked to Richard about this, and he's like, I would love to fix that for you. And we haven't come up with a great solution because I don't want to lose this shaped neck. This is the most interesting profiled neck. It is a V shape, very, very small, interesting, and I absolutely love the shape and feel of this neck and don't want to lose that. So he thinks he can recreate that. I changed out the tuners on this. It now has gold Waverleys instead of the nickel Clousons that were originally on there. I thought it looked cool, and has some fossilized walrus ivory for the nut and saddle. Those are the major changes that I did personally to it, and I am still amazed. This thing sounds great. It's a great guitar, and definitely for me a treasure that I just cannot let go. I spent most of my guitar playing career with this guitar, and also has this really cool signed label. This is back when Tony was signing the labels, so it's got a Tony Rice signature on the inside, and that was a major inspiration for me as a guitar player. So there you have it. This is my Santa Cruz January of 1990 Tony Rice model. We're going to do a little bit of a tone sample so you can compare it to some of the other guitars that we've listened to, and I hope you all love it. If you do, maybe we'll get to see even more of the guitars that I have collected over the years and kind of get the stories behind them. And if you do love that, make sure to subscribe and hit the like and notifications buttons and all those good things that you guys like to do. And also send me any questions or comments that you have about any of my guitars. I'd love to hear from y'all.
And we really appreciate you guys watching that video. It was my favorite one we've made so far. We've done hundreds of videos, and that was the best one.
It was.
And the next one's going to be even better. If you'd like to see that, be sure you subscribe to this channel. And also, the more you comment and interact below, the more the YouTube algorithms pick it up and start pushing it out to other people, like-minded people.
Algorithms?
Algorithms, they're everywhere. They permeate the internet, and YouTube's got one. And it watches our videos, and it sees how much you comment, and then it pushes us to other people like you. And we want everyone to experience the Acoustic Shop world, where we talk about instruments, we do reviews, we got some fun videos coming up. We thank you guys so much for being a part of it, and we'll see you in the next video.